So here is a pack of these shims I have already put in. That should be it. So now that I've shimmed the whole thing with Coke cans, 5 total, 6, 7 I think. In theory, according to my measurements, I'll go through these in a sec, this should actually be almost there. The way I am measuring this thing is, I have my dial indicator here. Right, I set it on there to a reading of 8, which is kind of arbitrary, 0.0. It's these little ones that are important. And then I swing the spindle over 90 degrees to this point and I measure here. I'm just using this to just wiggle it in place, let it settle. Okay, so we are at 7.81, which is 19 divisions. That's 190 microns, 0.019 of a millimeter. But we're not really concerned with the difference from here to here. We're concerned with the difference from this side to that side. So let's just go back there, make sure it's back at 0, which it is. Now if I swing it over the other way, you won't be able to see this because the gauge is up back. What does that say? So that was like 7.73 or something like that. That means we are about 773, yeah, like 25 divisions out. So basically, I'm just gonna take my sledgehammer. These nuts are fairly loose, and I'm just gonna whack the top of the machine. Now I just need to figure out which way to whack it. If this reading is less, this gap is larger, so I need to push the bottom of the machine this way and the top that way, I believe. Right. Hey, it has moved a little bit. So I'm just going to repeat that until I get a consistent reading left to right. And believe it or not, we are at exactly the same reading left and right. So this is saying like 7.95, right? And if I swing it the other way, to about here. Now I bet it's going to say something different. I'm just going to point in the camera because I can't actually see that. I'm assuming it's about 7.95. Should be. I checked just a second ago. So we are basically there. Hooray! Now I'm just going to tighten the hell out of these nuts and watch it drift out again. It's been a hell of a process and I think I'm there. The best I am going to get is back to front 0.05 on the dial indicator, so that is 50 microns I believe, and side to side 0.03, which is 30 microns, so over 30 centimeter distance in both ways. That is quite good, I think. As you can see, it's taken me quite a while to get here, so I started off with 1.16 millimeters, so 1160 microns between front and back, and then gradually reduced that amount by adding shims. And I actually had to take those last shims out because it swung the other way, so as you see the back dimension is always smaller. Yeah, at this point here it becomes bigger, and I added more shims when I should have taken it out. So basically, yeah, I'm back to 6 shims, I think. Yeah, it's so sensitive to anything. I mean, as I was turning the bolts, this was kind of swinging out quite noticeably. So I ended up just loosening them, knocking the machine, testing again, loosening them, tightening them, loosening them, and eventually I kind of just did a tiny little bit on each bolt, and I mean now they're at a point where I can't get any more torque on my pretty much feels like I'm going to break those bolts. So yeah, that is pretty much done. I mean, this plate isn't scraped in or anything, so it's not even flat. But it's reasonable, and as soon as I put all the other stuff on there, it pays to be as accurate at this point as possible. It's late and I am knackered, but it is done. So on to the next bit.